implementation of the CBC curriculum at the junior secondary school threatened to down their tools over the terms of their employment. But before we get to that, Nabwera, let's wind up on the conversation on capitation, and it's been a huge conversation. On the 1st of November 2023, the Education Cabinet Secretary appeared before members of Parliament and announced a possibility of a slash for capitation in a secondary school, for secondary school learners. And this elicited huge debate across stakeholders, especially teachers' unions. But here's what the CS said, that, and of course, like you mentioned, in 2023, learners received 16,000 shillings in capitation. But the CS said the capitation might go even lower, to about 15,000, if no intervention is done to bridge the existing 22 million shilling budget gap. The gap, according to the CS, exists because there's been an increase in learner population by up to 1 million shillings, which is overstretching the block funding. Now, we had a census in 2019, and you'd think that the government is using this data for, among other things, planning for, better livelihoods for the citizens of Kenya. But this is, clearly wasn't taken into consideration. Why is it that the government isn't planning for an increase in learners?
First of all, there is a special audit report, which was, I sit also in the Public Accounts Committee, a special audit report which was ordered by the Public Accounts Committee because of this shenaniganism. And you will also remember that up to today, the Minister of Education have not accounted for the 10,000 extra students at KCP last year who could not be traced. And the money was released. So that tells you the credibility of the numbers has an issue. And because I don't want to preempt, because the auditors just filed the special audit report, it will be revealing much more on what happened. But what I want to say is eventually, this is what happened. In the supplementary one, the Parliament gave more money. We are also expecting the supplementary two, which was already. Parliament, what I know, Parliament cannot reduce money for capitation. I'm aware, as a committee, we have said, the balance of the money must be provided for in supplementary two. Okay? Which will cover for the following shortfall. But the big issue here is, even after Parliament, the Committee of Education directed, I want to talk about a particular vote, that sports is held at schools, not at the ministry. Why are you retaining money, part of the money for sports? Can you release all the money to schools? They still retain the money, part of the money. Those are the issues Sosion calls accountability issues in the Ministry of Education. They still retain the money. For reason you don't understand. Some things we don't want to say because we don't want to send an alarm in the country. Do you know, as we are sitting here today, all our learners have no medical cover? All, including those who are having long lifetime diseases, who had been on treatment. These are the issues that we need to talk as a country. We cannot cover them under the table. Finally, my point on this issue of capitation is, can we be realistic? As I hold the view, just like Sosion, that if we want to get this country right, we must continuously invest in education, and rightfully so. Sometimes you look at where we put money, quick money, you will put quick money in a dam, which will take another 5 years to be completed. We paid money and it is not even completed. When indeed, that dam is going to cost me 38 billion. I need 5 billion to put in education to give him classrooms. You've heard what he has said today. He has two teachers in every JSS school.
All right. And what else to move on to
I mean, and some of the schools have 2 streams, 3 streams. I mean, grade 7, 2 streams, grade 8, 2 streams, and you have 2 teachers. What do you expect?
I want to move on to the issue of capitation because we don't have much time, but we cannot move on without discussing the story now that's the talk, the center of debate over ghost schools in Baringo County. This is part of a report aired by the Nation TV. And so these are schools, and so I'd like to get your comments on this, but these are entire schools that seem to be part of an elaborate ploy to defraud the government of school capitation funds, which is very, very disturbing. So we have schools with huge signboards and gates, but no structures, no classrooms, no students to show for it. But they have boards, you know, with members. They have school fees accounts, and the schools receive capitation funds.
If you allow cancer, cancer is a disease which begins with a small cell, and it grows. It grows. And eventually it will destroy one organ, it will destroy all the organs. If deliberately the accounting systems have been dismantled at the ministry, then it means there might have been interest of cartels of defrauding school money. And it could have grown. This is an hypothesis to creation of non-existent schools. When you talk of, you cannot account for 10,000 students in a candidature, those students may not have existed after all. And when you talk of existing signposts, it is possible for somebody to register a school and you have records of existence of a school within the ministry. If the NEMI system or the ministry with non-existent, we've known this exaggeration of the number of students so that there's more capitation. There is that arch of that extended corruption network. And in the absence of a quality assurance, that will really give you the exact numbers of school, inspection of schools, what is being done. And in the absence of a working audit system, that somebody, an auditor will walk into a school and generate an audit report and check what the money has done, whether it has been put into good use. In the absence of that, then you can expect the worst opposite of it. And that is why, for me, I've always said, it is not the money being wired to school, but it is what the money that has been wired to schools is doing. So the existence of ghost schools, it was only reported in one part of the country. This is a vast country, 585,000 kilometers square. How many signposts do you have existing all over the country? And how many schools exist even without signposts, but on records? That's why I've always raised a red flag. And I know the security systems of this country also concerned, because I've had conversation with some of them.
It's commanship on a new high.
Here, we could be losing a lot of money. When you create a school in the record system, then you must assign children also, the number of children. And when you assign children, you must also create an account where you wire the money. And that money is retrieved somehow. To me, there is a rat here that is smelling so badly, and that rat must be smoked out boldly. And we can only be very sure that that is being done if we institute and put in place proper structures that we can feel and get feedback in terms of accountability.
Your thoughts on this?
And I urge Machogu, the Minister Machogu, this is a call, do what Saitote did. Ensure that there is proper accountability. Give no exception. No one should extend any mercy to anybody who might be engaged in impropriety within the ministry. Right. It is your responsibility.
Honorable Tandaza, please. We don't have
on this issue, I think the weakest link here is not just the ministry, because we are known as Kenyans, generally, that would want to have any easy way out of getting our hands into public funds. Not so long ago, it was all over in the media that one of the ministry officials at the headquarters had also created an account where he was really siphoning money out of the system. So that is a Kenyan. Now, how would you get a school registered, Michelle? I've had to register schools. It starts with the local education boards, isn't it? So the weakest link here is the issue of the DCI and the ASC, because for such a situation, before it's even exposed, they will just find out, was there paperwork, was there documentation from the local education, nowadays they call county education board, which actually forward those paperwork that there is a school and now it has the proper structures, it has the students to be registered. That might not have happened. Now, the next stop is at the ministry headquarters. Definitely, it's those officers working there who can electronically generate and register a school. But even after that expose, what happens? I think that is where our problem is. We have all the information is out there. Some of it, as I had initially said, you even don't need an auditor. We have DCI in Baringo, we have DCI in Kwale, we have ESCC. You know, they are now even devolved. It's not just at Integrated Center. They are now even devolved. But what are they going to do? Probably they will only go to see the percentage they can also get out of that. And that is where we don't move. The story ends there. So up to that point where we'll decide now, can we go seriously, wholeheartedly, for the benefit of this country? But the problem with us Kenyans is that we think of ourselves as individuals. If I were to go for this prop and it's 100 million, surely sitatoka na less than 10 million. Now I start budgeting for the 10 million. Can I get a plot in where? Can I start building? Can I do this? That is where the problem is. So the Ministry of Education, as I've said initially, when I started by saying if there is a ministry that is haunted amongst the 21 ministries, then the Ministry of Education is one. Remember, it is one of the ministries that even gets the highest allocation from our budget. You see, the Ministry of Education, it's one of the ministries that get the highest allocation from the budget. But the issue of enforcement, to me, that is the real weakest link. And as long as they don't act, we'll expose, we'll talk, the auditor's reports will be there,
nothing happens.
Business as usual.
Nabwera, your thoughts on this ghost schools?
I want to give a solution and request that my brother and I must insist that as we give you money as Minister of Education, we want to see an effective quality assurance system. If QAs were there and audit, if quality assurance were there, definitely they will file reports. And when they file reports, somebody must say, but this school, how come you have not visited? Then they will go there and say, there's no such a school. There's no such a school. So we must, as a country, when I grew up and going to school, and I believe Sosiona and us, we remembered a man called Sitima.
Chief Inspector
of Schools.
Who could close schools and open
that
schools.
Guy, only the issue that he will be in the county or in the district. All head teachers, all education officers would be running. That day is the only day you will see even the head, you will arrive in the school at 6 and the head teacher is in the office. Because you don't know when the steamer will come. And it was effective. I mean, you would go to a school, if the head teacher is not there, action is taken.
All right.
Which is this country where a school can go a whole year and it has not been inspected. I mean, your people's children.
Not a year, more than a year.
Do you remember? Do you remember what happened in Mukumu? Do you remember what happened in Mukumu? I mean, it was like a shock. We lost 6 children.
Michelle, just to portray on what he's talking about, the powers of inspectorate section or quality section, they are so sweeping.
Exactly.
And those powers can be operated outside the minister's armpit.
Exactly.
And even the director quality assurance or the chief inspector can only brief the president directly on matters of quality assurance. And the powers of the chief inspector of school or quality assurance includes even closure and opening of school.
Exactly.
No one else can do that. It is the chief inspector of school or the quality assurance who can close and open. And the powers given is that the chief inspector and his personnel down to the grassroots can visit the school anytime, any minute. And that's what teachers are prepared. Right. That when you are teaching in class, the quality assurance is
come up anytime.
Can
the ministry invest in technology?
Has been attacked. The department has been attacked, destroyed, and obliterated.
Can the ministry invest in technology in this era? So that we really, I don't think in my view, we need another steamer who will be walking around. You know, the technology is so advanced that if you want to pinpoint a certain primary or secondary school within the republic, with all the satellites, with all the technology, you can actually find out. You can even now pinpoint even whether the head teacher is there or not without actually visiting. So I think there could be some deliberate efforts, not even to invest in technology, so that the status quo and people get away with the money as usual.
Gentlemen,
otherwise, to me, the next frontier would
now
invest in technology.
With technology.
So let's move on to that, Sosian, because we have 5 minutes to wind up.
I don't think technology can be an excuse to substitute authority of an office.
Yes.
That office can then be enhanced to do that using technology.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we must have that independent office. And all Commonwealth countries and all countries in the world, education is supervised through quality assurance. And the big question I'm asking,
we must move on to the issue of junior secondary
school. Who is evaluating the rollout of CBC?
Viewers are waiting for this conversation. Now,
the
fate of junior secondary schools right now remains in limbo because nearly 60,000 intern teachers have threatened to down their tools following the terms of their employment. And it's been a big conversation as to whether JSS is working altogether.
Michelle, I've pronounced myself on this issue of junior secondary 1,001. From the day we changed from 1 year internship to 2 years internship, I was here, I was in the committee, I told my colleagues, I told them we are making a legal mistake. We are going to go into a quagmire. Time has proven me right. Because we are in a litigious country. People are very aware of their rights. And now that the court has pronounced itself, and no court of superior jurisdiction has reversed it, that is what it is. The court said the relationship between an intern teacher and TSC was illegal. That's what it is. What we need here is to act judiciously. 3 players. The Minister of Education, TSC, and Parliament have a solution to this. What is my recommended solution? We have a supplementary budget coming. Can the ministry propose money, TSC bring a budget required to, now that the court says this relationship should be of permanent nature, can we get money? It's some 4 billion shillings to turn these people into permanent and pensionable. That's number 1. Number 2, instead of TSC being intransigent, what they need to do in the interim as we're working out is to sit down with these teachers and say, look, we are regularizing our relationship. Can we continue teaching? I mean, some of those teachers have their children in those schools. I don't think they will want to sabotage the country. The interest is not sabotaging their country. The interest is ensuring their right is not tumbled on.
When you speak about their rights, because we really don't have time, Honorable Tandaza, the same court that said that the payment terms that JSS teachers, intern teachers were under was illegal, still said that then TSC has 3 months to maintain status quo. And so JSS teachers are seeking interpretation on what this status quo means. Will they work for another 3 months under internship terms? Will they be paid for the next 3 months as permanent and pensionable? There's been a lot of questions what this means. What does it mean in interpretation?
I'm not a lawyer, but what I understand from the term status quo is that things remain as they were. That is my interpretation.
Until a resolution.
Yeah, and so the terms don't change for the 3 months. And I believe that is also a very wise decision, because somehow they know they're handling a very intricate docket, handling our kids. The kids can't afford to stay a whole 3 months out without being taught. And that's why the course also found it in their wisdom to maintain these teachers there. But the biggest question and the solution that my colleague has offered, I don't think it is as simple as that. Because you remember, it's easy to say, ask for more money, we give you. But remember, the same budget which you and I sit over, if you look at the whole budget policy statement. Now, we are just talking about floods, isn't it? And we talked about floods specifically to the education sector. We've not really talked about floods in terms of the infrastructure, which is also equally important. Some kids will not go to school, not because they don't have fare, not because the school has been damaged, but there's no access to that school. So when it comes to the issue of money, it should be looked at holistically. Otherwise, if everybody comes and asks what they want, they think is enough, I don't think they'll ever be enough to go around to everybody.
Right,
but
the thing is, the
again, remember, the JSS teachers are not enough, let alone the issue of internship. The JSS teachers are not enough. I can put it on the media here that all my JSS schools have a maximum of 2 teachers. They have streams, as they have said. The subjects are many. Most of them are ARE Kiswahili, and yet we need teachers for maths and other subjects, STEM. So the biggest question I would ask, because personally, previously I said, we don't have the capacity to implement CBC. Now, was CBC designed to fail? Right from inception. I think that is another question that we need to ask ourselves. All right.
Sosyon, I'll give you the final comment because we really are out of time. We don't have enough laboratories, enough classrooms, enough JSS teachers.
I am on record in directing research studies on the rollout of CBC, and I still hold my professional view. The manner in which CBC was designed, it was designed to fail this country. And the truth is, at the JSS level, nothing much is going on. And the teacher deployment system to the JSS is wrong. And that is what TSC is doing, is also completely wrong. The content of grade 7 and grade 8 is not different from the previous curriculum. So it should have been taught by the same teachers who are available. And those are the P1 teachers who could be capacitated.
Who are also not enough.
And who are not enough. It would be easier to recruit and deploy such a number. Now, when you look at, you are recruiting graduate teachers, and you have 2 per school, and each is trained in 2 subjects. Yeah. They're only able to teach a maximum of 4 subjects, and the subjects being offered in the curriculum are 14. How long will it take to recruit enough teachers up to that level? This brings in the economics of recruitment and deployment of teachers. In the previous curriculum, even diploma teachers were advised to teach only up to Form 2, then graduates could take up beyond that level. So there is a whole problem on who really should teach JSS in terms of teachers. And if you restrict the current 200 and something thousand primary school teachers to teach only between grade 1 and 6, that's what we call underutilization. All right. We need to have a fresh conversation between the ministry and TSC and agree who really should teach JSS, the so-called JSS, up to grade 9, which is now called comprehensive school, because in 2026, we will get into another bigger trouble of the pathways. Yeah. Are we prepared for the pathways? All right. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Have we trained enough teachers for the technical subjects and deployed them for humanities and sports and for arts and sports? Have we trained enough teachers for music, for foreign languages, and the rest? Are we prepared? The big question is, let's tell ourselves the truth, and I still maintain, we've not worked hard to roll out a curriculum and prepare the human resource. And we are deploying the wrong human resource to teach at the wrong levels.
Thank
where
you.
they were not
Gentlemen,
trained.
we are completely out of time.
So, Michelle, one statement.
10 seconds. Now,
yes.
please.
Michelle, we are already in trouble. We are actually in the sea, and we must get out. All theories hold them constant. We have children in school, in grade 7, in grade 8. We have a legal pronouncement by a competent court of a higher jurisdiction. How do we get 3 months is elapsing at the end of this month, if you do it from the day of the ruling? So between now and the 4th of next month, we must have a solution. And I'm telling you, we ourselves pronounce as a country that we are recruiting intern teachers for 1 year. That was the letter of offer.
We must find out.
You cannot change terms. You know, we can't be a country that you cannot change terms midway.
Now, with all eyes on the government as to whether they
saying.
will be abiding by this particular court order. But gentlemen, and so much more to discuss in the education sector, and we'll organize another such conversation, especially on the implementation of the CBC curriculum. I'd like to thank you all for your time. Many thanks to former NAT Secretary General Wilson Sossion. We also have Matuga Member of Parliament, Honorable Kasim Tandaza, and Lugari Member of Parliament, Honorable Nabi Nabwera. Gentlemen, many, many thanks for your time. And thank you to you for watching us this morning as we take a look at the state of education in the country. My name is Michelle Ngele Odhiambo. Many thanks for watching. Good morning.
Everybody